How many of you, when you do a to-do list, your to-do list is about this long, boom, 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 Focus. You know what? Instead of having a to-do list that's this long, that basically said, that's way too many things to do. I've got to take a nap first. One at a time, write down one thing. What's your very most important thing to do that day? Write it down. When you get it done, cross it off. What's the next most important thing? Write that down. When you get it done, scratch it off. Don't make a list of 10 things. One at a time. Most important, second most important, third most important. Go at it that way. Focus. Turn off. How many of you use Outlook as your email client? Some of you in business do. How many of you have it set so that it beeps when you get email? Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn that Outlook email notifier off. Focus. Focus. Set a time in your day to check your emails, to return phone calls. Focusing rituals, attentional strategies. The fifth thing in slowing down, we might call fallowing rituals. No, that's not a misprint. It's not supposed to say following rituals. Fallowing rituals. Who can tell me what fallowing is, or what fallow is? Anybody? David?
Fallow means to allow, for instance, in agriculture, you allow your fields to grow up in weeds without doing anything to them.
Okay. Field looks like it's not doing anything, that nothing's happening, but what in fact is happening? Rest and replenishment, so it's ready to go in a year or two. Growing more weeds. Okay, growing more weeds. Okay, so how do we in our lives fallow? Let me suggest a couple of things. How many of you have ever taken a do-nothing day? A do-nothing day. Just to let your brain wander, to daydream. Medical science indicates that this is the seed of creativity. Do-nothing days. Let your mind wander and daydream. It replenishes things in your life and your awareness of things in life and your awareness of God's presence. If you can't do that for a whole day, let me suggest mental vacations. You schedule them in your day, mental vacations. Take time to vacate your minds, not blank them. Don't wipe them clean. Let your minds play and rest at scheduled times during the day. Put it on your calendar. Put it on your to-do list. Okay? Fallowing rituals. Okay. Silence rituals is the last one. It's kind of like the cone of silence. Silence rituals. When I thought of this, the first thing I thought of is Sharon reacts violently at home sometimes when we're watching television. When you're watching a talk show or when you're watching a person interview a couple of people about political ideas, you know where they just talk over the top of each other. She's got to change the channel. She just cannot listen to that. And that's the way we all ought to be when it comes to silencing the many noises in our lives. Conversation has been defined as a vocal competition in which the one who's catching his breath is called the listener. That's exactly what's going on in that kind of a show. Did you know that silence is God's first language? Silence is God's first language. We ought to find ways to incorporate more silence in our own lives. That takes us to our third point. Not only are we supposed to show up and slow down, we're supposed to shut up and listen. Silence. Friends, we all have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Seek that ratio as a starter in your life. The quieter we become, the chattier God becomes. What I'm encouraging you to do is listen to your life. Listen to your life. Listen for the times in which you understand your relationship with God. When you understand the faith. Listen for those times and note them. Listen for the times when you display faith in your lives. Listen where you see other people display faith in their lives and tell them about it. Listen for the Jesus at work in you. We can only do that if we incorporate times of silence in our lives, if we shut up and listen. Did you know that if you scramble the word listen, if you scramble the letters, one of the words you get is silent? How about that? We listen better when we're silent. This is a tough test for us to shut up and listen, because when we shut up and listen, it means that we're no longer the center of attention. And that's really tough for us. Show up, slow down, shut up and listen, wake well. Okay. We heard Jesus using the metaphor of waking well in Matthew chapter 24 today. He was constantly saying in one form or another, stay awake, be alert, watch, pay attention. I believe that nodders, folks that begin to recognize the presence of Jesus in their lives, don't necessarily dream bigger dreams than other people. They're simply more wide awake than most. Because all of us are sleepwalkers in some areas of our lives. Did you know that? You're sleepwalking through life in some areas of your life. Waking up is hard for some of us in all areas of our lives. But let me say, once you wake from sleep, wake well to each day. How do you know if you've woken well? Some of us don't wake up well until it's afternoon. Some of us don't wake up well until we've had our first cup of coffee or Mountain Dew, right? Some of us, just wake well and we jump out of bed and, we can be talked to right away. Some people can't be addressed for some time. Are your clothes laid out? Are you ready for the excitement and challenges of this new day? Or is it true of you what the bumper sticker says, new day, same underwear? Friends, every awakening is a call to connect with the God who's already there. I invite you to wake well and hear the music of the spheres all around you. Reverend Ole is the pastor of the local Norwegian Lutheran Church, and Pastor Sven is the minister of the Swedish Covenant Church across the road. One day, they were seen pounding a sign into the ground that read, "The end is near. Turn yourself around now, before it's too late." As the car sped past them, the driver leaned out his window and yelled, "Leave me alone, you Scandinavian religious nuts." From the curve down the road, Ole and Sven heard screeching tires and a big splash. Reverend Ole turns to Pastor Sven and asks, "Do you think maybe the sign should just read, 'Bridge out'?" We're not always very good at interpreting the signs we do see. Let's learn next week how we can use our senses to better interpret the signs. Amen.